calling all parents of children with access to smartphones and tablets. You need to be a part of this next conversation.
Yeah, this is very exciting. So Rory Birkbeck, co-founder and CEO of Kiwi company SafeSurfer, a tech innovator and a dad of two, has dedicated almost a decade to developing innovative tech solutions focused on child safety online. And he joins us this morning to talk about a new piece of tech that's a game changer for parents, the Kids Safe phone. Well, good morning, Rory. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey, and well done once again. We're going to talk more specifically about the phone in just a second, but we kind of breezed past the part where this took almost a decade, right? Like 8 years, and you're working with Samsung to do this. How did this even come up in the first place? You're like, we need to do something with our phones. I'm going to give Samsung a ring. Like, how does this all come together?
Yeah, look, I think for me, about 8 years ago, it started as a concerned dad myself with a friend. And so we kind of embarked on this journey, and I just became hugely passionate about online safety. The more I got into it, the more I just saw just such a myriad of issues where, coming from a tech background, I was just, how can this possibly happen? And how is this not being addressed?
It's really interesting because just off air, you were talking about your two kids, how they're 8 and 5. So you started this process literally with a newborn?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it was my other co-founder who was more into it with his kids at that point in time. And so I kind of grew into it, if you like. But for me, it was also a lot of friends' kids and other people's kids as well. And as I say, just a real heart for this particular issue.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the problem, because I understand that there are some pretty troubling statistics in New Zealand right now around kids' use of online resources.
Absolutely. Look, I think there is a significant problem here. And so in terms of content and what kids are seeing, in the research the Classification Office did in 2018, a quarter of kids was seeing porn before the age of 12. And in the latest research that Common Sense Media have released after COVID, it's about half of kids that are seeing porn by the age of 12.
Wow.
So, and then it goes, obviously right up, just the amount of unwanted content they're seeing, or damaging or upsetting content by the time that they're 16.
So then let's talk about the solution then, right? You've decided that this is the problem. We need to do something about this. Tell us about the solution you guys have come up with.
Yeah, so as I say, like really for me, it was kind of looking at it from a tech lens and saying, why is the tech not serving us, And so I think for me, it was going, what's wrong? And clearly it was that the safety was an afterthought and still is an afterthought for most products. So while you might see parental control badges on things, really there's just been a poor job done across the board with very little standards, very little certification. And so as a dad, I wanted to really build the best possible solution. And so we went out and we had a look, and it just turned out that the Samsung platform was absolutely the best platform to deliver this on. So from a privacy, safety, and security perspective, really we were able to deliver this phone, which is safe by design, and the tablet as well. So it's just a incredible solution that parents can leverage.
I'm really curious. As a mother of two, I've got a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old. How does it work in terms of like this platform and the security? Like, how does it block the harmful content? Yeah,
so the online safety tech that we've built includes kind of a filter, if you like. But before that, before we get to even internet browsers, the idea is that there needs to be a real step up or just a real delayed approach that parents can take with giving their kids a smartphone. So out of the box, the phone comes with just calls and texts and a couple of other really basic apps. And then when the parent feels like that child is ready, they can then unlock the additional features that they're going to need.
Right. Okay. So what kind of things might you unlock as the child gets older, or you feel that they're mature enough to have access to them?
Yeah, so obviously a web browser is a really, really big one. And so at what point are you going to give access to a web browser? And then the filtering kicks in after that. So, what's going to be filtered? App Store, obviously that's another really big one. And it might just be that you download an app and then you go back, so you go back to locking it down. But I think probably as a parent as well, obviously YouTube is probably one of the really big ones. And so we have, we've got an app called Safe Vision that we've partnered with, which is a way that parents can just select the channels that they want their kids to see and nothing else. So it completely sandboxes YouTube.
So you can go into YouTube effectively and say, okay, I want my kids to be able to watch videos from these channels, but it's not going to allow, say, recommendeds to take them off that strand later on, or maybe just go to other channels that their friends are saying, hey, you should check this out, but it's actually kind of harmful stuff.
Exactly. So, with all tech, I think we've got to look at how we can honor our kids' time and attention. And we've got to be really wary of apps that don't do that. And so for me, it's really about how do we deliver that through a smartphone and a tablet.
And as a parent who's probably a bit of a noob when it comes to technology, how user-friendly is it from the parent side?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is why we've taken so long to get to this point, because we wanted to make it as simple as possible for parents. And so the SafeSurfer dashboard is very user-friendly. And really, it's just about, there is a bit of an education and kind of a step-up process as you learn to use it. But, it's something that parents are going to need to come to terms with. And I think some parents, might struggle a little bit and they might need to get some help from their friends, and that's okay too.
Oh, look, I mean, if you can teach your nana how to program a VCR, right, you can figure out how to use the phone with your mates.
Absolutely. I think everybody has got a certain level of tech literacy these days.
I'm also thinking too, quite frankly, I know we're saying this is for kids. I think adults probably could maybe make some use of this as well, right? Like we hear a lot of people talking about controlling our own usage and people not being able to manage that themselves. And I think probably there's a point we have to acknowledge, even as full-grown adults, we're not very good at moderating our time sometimes. Are there ways of maybe making this work, even if you're just an adult who thinks, look, I need some help to moderate my own smartphone usage?
Or your own shopping online.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look, I think absolutely there for all of us, and particularly Gen Z are seeing it, that they want a different solution. I tried to go back to a dumb phone, and the thing that I really struggled with was just the keyboards and just how hard it was to text. And so I've found, this a really good solution for being able to protect my time and attention. So I think absolutely, it's probably not the ideal solution. It's really an ideal parent-focused solution at the moment, but in the future we might extend to that.
Well, there's an idea, right? Like how to modify your attention as an adult and have a phone that's not going to, draw your attention to things that you shouldn't be focusing on. Well, thank you so much, Rory, for sharing your amazing technology, this kid-safe phone that's in partnership with Samsung. Last question and most important, where can people go to get this phone or find out more?
Yeah, so we've got a webpage, kidssafephone.nz, so you can go to that and you can buy the phone. It will also be available through the Samsung online store as well.
Okay, so kidssafephone.co.nz?
Just .nz.
.nz. You see, this is why we had kidssafephone.nz, everybody. Yeah. I made the mistake, so you don't have to. Kidssafephone.nz.
Cool. That's the place to go. Well, thank you so much. Rory Birkbeck, the co-founder and CEO of SafeSurfer.
Amazing. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss the next video.
We'll see you in the next one.